My mom treated me like the help while coddling my lazy siblings, so I made one final choice that left them crying and begging for forgiveness. I don't even know how to start this, because I've been holding it in for so damn long. Maybe typing it out will help me not completely lose it. I'm Blake, 22, male, and I work at this warehouse loading trucks near my new apartment. I wasn't planning to move out like this, but here I am, sitting on my crappy futon in my tiny living room, staring at the ceiling fan that makes this weird clicking noise I can't fix. So here's how everything went to complete hell. I grew up in one of those neighborhoods where everyone knows when you get a new car or fail a class. Not the ghetto, but definitely not where the rich kids live either. I got two younger siblings, Aiden, 18, male, and Kaylee, 15, female. Growing up, I was always labeled the responsible one, or the man of the house, like that was supposed to make me feel important or something. Blake, you're the oldest. Set an example. Blake, your brother and sister look up to you. Blake, fix this, move that, take care of this. Every single day. And stupid me, I did everything they asked. I thought that's just what being the oldest son meant. Took me way too long to realize that man of the house was just code for, Blake, we're going to make you do all your dad's responsibilities while Aiden and Kaylee do whatever the hell they want. And the worst part? I believed it. I bought that crap hook, line, and sinker. Maybe it was because I was a dumb kid desperate for approval. Maybe I thought if I stepped up enough, Dad would finally notice me, appreciate me, maybe even do his own damn job for once. It started with small stuff when I was a kid, helping Aiden with homework, watching Kaylee when mom went shopping, fixing stuff around the house. But by high school, I was basically maintaining the entire property, mowing the lawn, unclogging toilets, moving furniture, assembling everything, doing all the heavy lifting, jump-starting cars, patching the roof, literally. If something needed muscle or tools, somehow it magically became my job. And if you're wondering, my dad was physically there but mentally checked out most of the time. He'd come home, barely say two words to any of us, and just zone out watching sports until he passed out on the couch. On weekends, he'd disappear for hours and come back acting weird. I didn't understand it back then. The worst part? We all had to pay rent, $350 a month since I turned 18. Aiden pays the same now that he's 18, and Kaylee will too when she hits 18. You're adults now. You need to contribute, Mom would say. So it sounds fair, because even though we all pay the same rent, I'm the only one who has to do literally every physical task in the house. Aiden's in community college and works part-time at GameStop, but somehow he doesn't have time to do chores. Kaylee's still in high school, but apparently homework and cheer practice means she can't learn how to use a freaking lawnmower. Meanwhile, I'm working 50+ hours a week at the warehouse, coming home with my back killing me, and still expected to unclog the sink because Kaylee dumped a bunch of makeup down the drain. Mom's excuse is always the same, your father works hard enough as it is. That's such bullshit. Dad barely functions most days. But pointing that out just starts a huge fight. At first, I was like, okay, maybe this is fair. I'm the oldest. I should help out. But that logic only made sense if everyone pulled their weight. Aiden and Kaylee pay rent just like me, but they don't lift a finger around the house. They treat the place like a hotel with me as the maintenance guy. Aiden spends all day playing Call of Duty and door-dashing food. Doesn't clean up after himself. Kaylee's either on Instagram or out with her friends, leaving her crap everywhere. But if I try to go out on a Friday night, suddenly Mom's like, Blake, the garage door is sticking again. You need to fix it before you leave. It wasn't fair. And maybe if I wasn't such a pushover, I would have said something sooner. But I just kept taking it, telling myself maybe when I got older, things would change. If anything, they got worse. And I lost my entire youth playing dad to a family that already had one. I can't remember the last time I just hung out with friends without getting a text about something breaking at home. Can't remember the last time I went on a date without having to cancel because of some emergency that only I could apparently fix. I've basically been 40 since I was 16. And I'm absolutely tired of it. But it all went down one day. I just finished a 12-hour shift at the warehouse. We were short-staffed as usual because management's too cheap to hire enough people, so I ended up doing the work of like 3 guys. My back was absolutely wrecked from moving pallets all day. My hands were calloused, and I was so tired I could barely keep my eyes open driving home. I almost nodded off at one point, which scared the shit out of me. All I wanted was to take a hot shower, maybe grab something to eat, and pass out for a few hours before I had to get up and do it all over again the next day. When I pulled into our driveway, I noticed Dad's car was gone. No surprise there. Thursday nights, he usually disappeared until like 3 a.m., coming back all jittery and weird. Mom's car was there though, which meant she was probably between shifts at the grocery store. I walked through the front door and immediately saw the disaster zone. The kitchen sink was backed up with gross water that smelled like something died in there. There was some kind of sticky crap spilled on the floor that crunched under my boots, and the trash was overflowing with pizza boxes and energy drink cans that were definitely from Aiden and his buddies. The living room wasn't any better, blankets everywhere, chip bags on the couch, Xbox controllers just thrown on the floor. I could hear Aiden and his friends laughing their asses off in the basement, playing Warzone, probably the same spot they'd been in since morning. This wasn't new. Our house was always a complete mess unless I cleaned it. Mom worked weird shifts at the grocery store and was too tired to do much when she was home. And Dad was. Well, Dad. Not really present even when he was physically in the house. Normally, I'd just sigh and start cleaning, because arguing with anyone was pointless. I'd throw away the trash, unclog the sink, wipe up whatever the hell was on the floor, and no one would even notice or say, thanks. It was just expected. Blake will clean it up. Blake always does. But that night, I was done. My body ached, my head was pounding, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I stepped over the mess and headed straight to my room, which was the only clean part of the house because I kept it that way. But before I could even close my door, I heard Mom call from the kitchen. She must have just gotten home too, because I didn't see her when I came in. Blake, the sink's backed up again. Can you fix it before dinner? And Aiden said the internet's been cutting out in the basement. I swear to God, I almost laughed, like that hysterical laugh when something is so ridiculous you can't even process it. I walked back out, leaned against the doorway, and just stared at her. Why can't Aiden fix his own internet? I asked, voice flat as hell. Or unclog the sink he probably jammed with food? Mom looked at me like I'd suggested we sell the house and join a cult, completely shocked, like the idea of Aiden fixing something was the most absurd thing she'd ever heard. Because he doesn't know how to do those things. You do, and whose fault is that? I shot back. He's 18. I was fixing the freaking roof when I was 16. No one taught me. I just had to figure it out. Blake, don't start. You know your brother isn't good with tools. Not good with tools? What a joke. He's perfectly capable of learning, just like I had to. Nobody taught me this. I figured it out because I had to. Aiden's just as capable. He's just never been expected to do anything. Why learn when Blake will just fix it? I just got home from moving boxes for 12 hours, I said, trying to stay calm even though I could feel my blood pressure spiking. I'm exhausted. My whole body hurts. And you want me to unclog the sink and crawl around fixing the internet while Aiden and his friends sit on their asses downstairs? Mom gave me that look, the one she always gave when she thought I was being difficult. The why can't you just do what I ask without complaining look that I've seen my entire life. Blake, you're the oldest. You know how to do these things. It's just a quick fix. And that was it. That was the moment I literally snapped. I slammed my hand against the wall so hard it left a mark. No, it's not just a quick fix. It's every single thing in this house. The sink, the internet, the lawn, the cars, the roof, the toilet, everything. Why am I the only one who has to do this? We all pay rent, $350 a month each, but I'm the only one expected to actually maintain the place we live in. I was yelling now, and I could hear the basement get quiet as Aiden and his friends probably paused their game to listen. Where's Dad? Why isn't he fixing the sink? Oh right, because he's never actually present even when he's physically here. Mom's face went white. Don't talk about your father like that. He works hard. I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. Works hard? Mom, I'm not stupid. I know what's going on with him, the disappearing, the mood swings, the way he can barely function most days. You think I don't know he's using? She was shocked. We had never said it out loud before, the big family secret that everyone pretended not to notice. Dad's problem that we all danced around but never actually addressed. Blake, I don't know what you think you. Stop, I cut her off. I'm 22. I've been doing Dad's job since I was 15. I pay the same rent as Aiden but do 100% of the work around here. I haven't had a single weekend to myself in years because there's always something broken that only I can fix. I'm done being the family janitor. I pulled out my wallet and threw three $50 bills and two 20s on the counter. There's my rent for the month. But I'm not fixing another damn thing, cleaning another mess, or solving another problem until everyone else starts pulling their weight. Mom stared at the money, then back at me like I'd grown a second head. What are you saying? I'm saying either Aiden and Kaylee start helping around here and Dad gets his shit together, or I'm out. For real. She followed me as I walked back to my room. Blake, you can't just decide you're not going to help anymore. We need you. I spun around. No, you need a free handyman and another paycheck. But you don't need me. You don't care about me. You care about what I can do for you. There's a difference. And I slammed my door in her face so hard. I locked myself in my room for the rest of the night. I could hear her talking to Aiden downstairs, probably telling him to be extra nice to Blake or some crap like that. Their usual strategy: wait for me to cool down, then act nice for a day or two until things go back to normal. Rinse and repeat. I laid in bed that night staring at the water stain on my ceiling that I fixed twice already but keeps coming back because the actual roof needs professional work. Replaying everything in my head. Part of me felt like complete shit. That's what they trained me to feel, like I was some kind of monster for not jumping to fix everything the second it broke, like I was selfish for wanting a life beyond being their personal maintenance guy. But another part of me, a part that was getting louder by the minute, kept screaming that this wasn't normal. This wasn't what being the oldest brother was supposed to be like. Sure, helping out is one thing, but this was my entire existence. I was 22, and I couldn't remember the last time I'd done something just for me. The craziest part is that I actually thought I was doing the right thing, like it was my duty to carry the weight of the house while everyone else did whatever the hell they wanted. I was the one losing sleep, my bones creaking like old floorboards, while they lived like everything was fine. I was breaking myself to fix something that was never even my responsibility. My phone buzzed with a text from Derek, my buddy from high school who's pretty much the only friend I still keep in touch with. Yo dude, we're hitting up that new bar downtown tomorrow night. You in? I almost typed my usual response, can't, got to help with stuff at home. But stopped myself. Why the hell couldn't I go? What would actually happen if I wasn't home for one night? Would the house explode? Would everyone die without Blake there to save them? Yeah man, I'm in, I texted back. It felt weird, like I was breaking some unspoken rule. I scrolled through social media for a while, looking at posts from guys I went to high school with. One was on a road trip to Colorado. Another just moved into an apartment with his girlfriend. Someone else was at a concert, video showing him in the pit having the time of his life. All these dudes living normal 22-year-old lives, going places, doing things, having actual experiences. Meanwhile, I spent my weekends fixing the washing machine and patching the driveway. That's when it really hit me. I wasn't just pissed about the chores or the repairs or the rent. I was mourning the life I never got to live, the college experience I skipped because mom said they needed me at home, the relationships that never worked out because I was always too busy or too tired, the trips I never took because my money went to rent and buying parts to fix stuff around the house. I had been straight up robbed of my youth. And I was never getting those years back. The next morning, I got up early before anyone else, made myself some coffee, and sat at the kitchen table waiting. The sink was still clogged. The mess still on the floor. I didn't touch any of it. Mom was the first one down. She stopped when she saw me, looking surprised that I was just sitting there instead of cleaning up. Blake, about last night. I meant what I said, I cut her off. I've been thinking about this all night. Do you realize I haven't been to a concert since high school? That all my friends have moved on while I'm stuck playing dad to a family that already has a dad? Mom sat down across from me, looking tired as hell, like she had aged 10 years overnight. For a second, I felt bad. But then I remembered all the nights I stayed up fixing things while everyone else slept. Your father. He's going through a difficult time. He's been going through a difficult time for 7 years, Mom. I get it, he has problems. But why am I the one paying for them? Why is it on me to fill his shoes? I didn't sign up for this. I didn't ask to be born first. We're family, Blake. We help each other. No, I said. You all help each other. I just do everything while everyone else watches. That stops now. I laid out my terms. Aiden and Kaylee would start doing actual chores, not just occasionally taking out the trash when they felt like it, but real shit like mowing the lawn and fixing stuff that breaks. Dad needed to get help for his problem. Real help, not just mom making excuses for him. And if I was paying rent like everyone else, I'd do my fair share but not everything. I wasn't asking for much, just some basic fairness. Just to be treated like everyone else in the house instead of the unpaid maintenance guy who also paid rent. Mom didn't like it, but she didn't argue either. She knew I was dead serious, and I think she knew deep down that I was right. I'll talk to them, she finally said. All of them. I nodded, not really believing anything would change but willing to give it one last shot before I made any drastic decisions. For about a week, things seemed to improve. Aiden bitched constantly but did the dishes when it was his turn. Kaylee rolled her eyes but actually cleaned the bathroom without being asked 5 times. Dad was, well, the same. But Mom promised she was working on him. I started to think maybe, just maybe, things could change. Maybe I could have some semblance of a normal life while still living at home. Maybe they'd finally realized how unfair everything had been. Then on Friday, I went to that bar with Derek like I'd planned. It was the first time in forever I'd done something social on a weekend. We played some pool, talked to some girls, normal 22-year-old guy stuff. I got home around 1 a.m. feeling better than I had in months. The next morning, I slept in. No one woke me up to fix something or run an errand. When I finally got up and went downstairs around noon, the house was quiet. Mom was at work. Kaylee was at a friend's. Aiden was probably still asleep. I decided to grab some tools from the garage to fix my laptop fan that had been making noise. That's when I found it. I was looking for the small screwdriver in Dad's old toolbox when I noticed it was open. Inside, hidden under some random screws, was a small baggie of pills, not even hidden well, just right there like he didn't care who found it. And suddenly, everything clicked. The money problems despite both parents working decent jobs, the way Dad would disappear for days sometimes, the mood swings, the vacant look in his eyes, the way he could never focus long enough to learn how to fix anything around the house. I wasn't naive. I knew Dad had issues. But seeing it right there, so blatant, still hit me like a truck. This wasn't just a guy going through a rough patch. This was full-blown addiction. As I stared at that stupid baggie, this boiling rage started building in my chest. Because while he was out there dodging his responsibilities and numbing himself out of his own life, I was the one dealing with the fallout. I was the one forced to pick up the slack, sacrificing every damn weekend, relationship, and piece of normalcy just to keep the house from completely falling apart. I had to be the responsible one. I had to be the man of the house because Dad checked out years ago. And now, seeing the actual evidence of his neglect made all those lost years feel even more real. I wasn't just mad at him for being an addict. I was mad at him for robbing me of my youth, for dumping his responsibilities on me without a single shred of guilt or remorse, for making me believe it was somehow my duty to keep everything going while he ran away from his own damn life. I took the bag and went back inside, my mind racing. What was I supposed to do with this? Confront him? Tell Mom like she didn't already know? Pretend I didn't see it and put it back? That felt like enabling. But for the most part, I just felt sick. I sat at the kitchen table and waited for Dad to come home, the bag sitting in front of me. This conversation was long overdue. Dad came home around 9, looking like shit as usual. His eyes were bloodshot, movements jumpy. He stopped dead when he saw me sitting there. "The hell are you doing?" he asked, voice raspy. I didn't say anything. Just pushed the baggie across the table toward him. His face went from confused to pissed in about half a second. "You going through my stuff now?" he snarled, snatching the bag and shoving it in his pocket. "Didn't have to go through anything. You left it out. Not very careful for someone with so much to hide." His eyes narrowed. "Watch your mouth, boy. I'm still your father." I stood up slowly. I'm a good 4 inches taller than him now, something that still catches him off guard. "Are you? Because I've been doing your job for years. Fix this, pay for that, be responsible. Where the hell have you been? Because I raised you to be a man, Blake. To handle your shit. To step up when it counts. You think I didn't go through the same stuff at your age? Putting everyone else first, that's what being a man is." That hit a nerve. Mom came into the kitchen then, stopping when she saw us squared off. "What's going on?" I didn't take my eyes off Dad. "Tell her what I found." "Or should I?" Dad's face got all red. "This is none of your business." "None of my business?" I laughed. "Everything in this house has been my business since I was 15. Every broken pipe, every blown fuse, every goddamn thing that needed fixing. But this isn't my business?" Mom stepped between us. "Blake, what are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone, showed her the picture I'd taken of the pills before Dad grabbed them. Her face went white, not shocked, just sad, like she already knew. "Did you know about this?" I asked, even though I already knew the answer. The look on her face said it all. "Of course she knew," I said. "Blake, your father is dealing with some." "Stop," I cut her off. "Just stop with the excuses. He's an addict, Mom. He needs help, not cover-ups. And I'm not going to keep pretending everything's fine." She started crying. "What do you want me to do? Kick him out? Break up our family?" Dad just stood there, not saying anything, not defending himself, just staring at the floor like a kid caught stealing. And that's when I realized nothing was going to change. They were all too comfortable with this messed up situation. Dad could keep using. Mom could keep enabling. Aiden and Kaylee could keep skating by, doing the bare minimum. And I was expected to keep picking up all the slack. Well, not anymore. I went to my room and started packing. Not everything, just enough clothes for a few days, my laptop, important documents. I texted my buddy Derek, who'd been trying to get me to move in with him for months. "That spare room still available?" I sent. 3 dots, then, "Hell yeah man. When you coming?" "Tonight if that's cool." "For real?" "Yeah that's fine." I didn't tell anyone I was leaving. Just walked out the front door with my duffel bag while they were all still arguing in the kitchen. They didn't even notice me go. I drove to Derek's place across town, a decent 2-bedroom apartment above a Mexican restaurant. The whole place smelled like tacos, which was honestly a major upgrade from the smell of dysfunction at home. "Dude, you seriously moving in?" Derek asked as he helped me carry my stuff up. "Just need a place to crash for a bit while I figure shit out." "Mi casa es su casa, bro," he said, showing me to the spare room. My phone blew up that night. I turned it off without reading any of the messages. For the first time in years, I slept like a rock. I woke up the next morning at Derek's place feeling weird as hell. Took me a minute to realize why. Nobody was yelling for me to fix something. "No, Blake, the toilet's clogged," or "Blake, the Wi-Fi is not working." Just quiet. I finally turned my phone back on around noon. Big mistake. 37 missed calls and like 50 plus texts, most from Mom, some from Aiden and Kaylee, even a couple from Dad. I skimmed through them and watched the progression from confusion to anger to panic. "Mom, Blake, where are you? Mom, please come home, we need to talk about this. Mom, the hot water heater is making that noise again, when are you coming back?" She didn't even ask if I was okay or safe, just when I'd be back to fix the water heater. "Aiden, dude, WTF, Mom's freaking out." "Aiden, seriously man, this isn't cool." "Aiden, the internet keeps cutting out and IDK, how to fix it." "Kaylee, Mom's crying, hope you're happy." "Then, the bathroom sink is clogged and there's water everywhere." Dad only sent 2 texts. "Where the hell are you? This is childish, come home now." I didn't respond to any of them. I wasn't ready to deal with that yet. Instead, I spent the day helping Derek fix up the spare room, now my room. We grabbed some cheap furniture from Walmart, set up my stuff, and ordered pizza. It was actually fun hanging out with a friend without constantly checking my phone to see if my family needed me for something. Weird how something so normal felt so foreign. But by day 3, Mom was getting desperate. The calls wouldn't stop. I finally answered one just to make it end. "Blake, oh thank God, where are you? When are you coming home?" I took a deep breath. "I'm not coming home, Mom. Not right now anyway." "Blake, please, everything's falling apart here. The sink is leaking, the yard is a mess, and your father is." "Not my responsibility," I cut her off. "Neither is the sink or the yard or anything else. I've been covering for him for years because he couldn't get his shit together. I'm done." "That's not fair," she said, her voice cracking. "Your father loves you, he's just struggling." "And what about my struggles? Did anyone care that I gave up everything to be the man of the house? Did anyone thank me for fixing everything, for paying rent, for being there whenever you needed something? Or was I just expected to do it all because I'm the oldest?" Silence on the other end. "That's what I thought," I said. "We need you, Blake." "No, you need a handyman and an extra paycheck, there's a difference." I could hear her crying. And not going to lie, part of me felt like shit. I've never been good with people crying, especially Mom. It's what always got me in the past, that guilt trip that made me cave every time. But I couldn't. Not if I wanted any kind of life of my own. "I love you, Mom, but I can't be the one holding everything together anymore. Dad needs real help, professional help. Aiden and Kaylee need to grow up and take some responsibility, and you need to stop enabling all of it." "So you're just abandoning us?" she asked, voice all small and broken. "No, I'm saving myself." I hung up feeling both like the biggest asshole and the most free I'd ever been. The next day I went back to the house while everyone was gone. Dad at work, Mom shopping, Aiden at his job, Kaylee at school. I grabbed more of my stuff, left my house key on the counter, and wrote a note. "I'm staying at Derek's. I've paid rent until the end of the month. After that you're on your own. Figure your shit out." Cold, maybe. But I was done with the guilt trips and the manipulation. I was done being the family pack mule. I was done being everyone's dad except my own. I thought leaving that note would be the end of it, that they'd either figure their shit out or crash and burn without me there to prevent it. Either way, not my circus, not my monkeys anymore. But a week later, I was coming home from my shift at the warehouse when I saw them. All 4 of them standing in the parking lot of Derek's apartment building like some kind of messed up intervention. I stopped dead in my tracks, my stomach dropping to my feet. "What the hell are you doing here? How did you even find me?" Mom stepped forward, looking like she hadn't slept in days. "Derek's mom told me." "Blake, please, can we talk?" I looked at all of them. Dad standing awkwardly to the side, eyes bloodshot, not meeting my gaze. Aiden looking annoyed like he'd been dragged there against his will. Kaylee actually not on her phone for once but still looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. "There's nothing to talk about," I said, moving to walk past them. Dad grabbed my arm. "This has gone on long enough, it's time to come home." I yanked my arm away. "Don't touch me, and I am home, this is where I live now." "Blake," Mom pleaded, "everything's falling apart without you. The garbage disposal jammed, the yard is a disaster, Aiden's car won't start." So call a plumber, hire a gardener, and take the car to a mechanic. I interrupted. That's what normal people do when things break. They don't force their oldest son to become the family handyman. We can't afford all that, she said. Not my problem. Aiden finally looked up from kicking rocks on the sidewalk. Dude, stop being such a dick. You know dad can't do that stuff and I don't know how. Then learn, I shouted, finally losing my cool. YouTube exists, Google exists. I wasn't born knowing how to snake a drain or change oil. I had to figure it out because no one else would. I turned to dad. And you want to talk about me coming home? How about you get clean first? How about you be an actual father to your kids instead of checking out and letting me handle everything? Dad's face darkened. You don't understand what I'm going through. You're right, I don't, because instead of being honest with your family and getting help, you decided to check out and let your teenage son pick up all your responsibilities. Blake, mom said, tears in her eyes. Please don't do this. We're a family. A family, I laughed bitterly. A family supports each other. A family shares burdens. What we have isn't a family, it's three people using a fourth as their personal assistant. Kaylee finally spoke up. God, you're so dramatic. It's not like we asked you to donate a kidney. No, you just asked me to donate my entire life. I shot back. When was the last time any of you asked me what I wanted? If I had plans, if I was happy, you didn't care as long as the lawn got mowed and the sink got fixed. Mom tried again. Blake, we love you, we miss you. You miss what I did for you. I corrected her. There's a difference. I looked at each of them one by one. I'm done being the replacement dad. I'm done fixing everything. I'm done putting my life on hold so the rest of you can have it easy. Dad stepped forward, his face red. So that's it, you're just walking away from your family. I'm walking away from being used, I said firmly. When you get help for your addiction, when Aiden and Kaylee start actually contributing, when all of you realize that I'm a person with my own life and not just your living handyman, then maybe we can talk, but until then we're done. I stepped around them and headed for the building door. Blake, mom called after me, you can't just. I said, not turning around, and I am goodbye. I closed the door behind me, my heart pounding in my chest. I waited for the guilt to hit, for the voice in my head telling me I was being selfish, that my family needed me, but it didn't come. Instead, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom, real genuine freedom, like for the first time in forever my life was actually my own. My time was my own, my future was my own. I walked into my apartment, closed the door, and finally exhaled. I'm 22 years old, and for the first time I get to live like it.